welcome back. Right? You good? All right, cool. I definitely appreciate you trekking with us, driving along this math course that you've elected to journey on. Thank you so much for letting me be your instructor. And so we're going to be talking about multiplying and dividing real numbers on this particular lesson. So I kind of wrote you a triangle, not the Illuminati or anything like that. It's simply saying that a negative times a negative gives you a positive. A negative times a positive gives you a negative. A negative times a positive gives you a negative. Or a positive times a negative gives you a negative. So when we look at this problem, it's a negative times a negative. 8 times 5 is 40. Two negatives gives you a positive, so that's going to be a positive 40. Here, this is saying like we have four people owing $2.50, right? So we have a negative times a positive, and so that's going to give us negative 10, right? Negative 10. Here, same thing, we have a negative times a negative. Negative times a negative equals a positive. We're multiplying by a fraction. That lesson was probably less than 1.1 or 2 or something like that. And so we're going to reduce diagonally. We reduce by 7. This gives us negative 1. This gives us a positive 2. That's our greatest common factor. We're going to multiply across. That's going to give us a negative 1 times a negative 3, which is a positive 3. And then 8 times 2, which is 16. And then here we are multiplying. And notice that there are three negatives, so our answer should end up being a negative. Negative 2 times negative 4 is a positive 8. Positive 8 times a negative 5. Before we had a positive 40, but this here we're going to end up with a negative 40. All right? And just a little more of the same. We are doing a negative times a positive, so a negative 10 times 5. Negative 10 times 5 gives us what? Gives us negative 50. Here's a fraction being multiplied by a whole number. We're going to take that whole number and make it into a fraction so that we can multiply fractions times fractions. We're going to reduce by the greatest common factor of 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. Negative 14 divided by 7 is negative 2. We're going to multiply across. We have a positive number times a negative number. That's going to be negative 12 over 1, which is negative 12. That's our final answer. And then, of course, any number times 0 is 0. All right? So that's that lesson. Okay? And so our next lesson is going to be similar to this one, but we're going to be furthering on about or continuing on about exponents. So tune in to next time. Thanks for tuning in to Driving Math. Your instructor, Mr. Glenn. Have a great day. Bye.